Good morning. My name's Ryan Littlestone from forexflow.live. We start the week after a pretty hectic week last week, manic week if anything, and a lot of market moves going on at the moment. We've got the virus issues going on. That's taking centre stage, and the market's deciding what it's going to do. It's running to safety. It's decided on what the central banks are going to do, what government's going to do, what the reaction is going to be to counteract this virus on an economic basis. Now, one of the pairs I've been looking at recently is Aussie Dollar, and that's been caught up in this whole whirlwind going on. I've been short way up in the 69s, and it's really gone much further than even I expected. But as traders, we try and milk the ones we win as far as we can, while cutting the losses as quick as possible. So if we look at it from a broad perspective first and look at the weekly chart, we can see we've still got this huge bear trend in play, and until it changes, that's the way to be leaning into this trade. So the short side is still very much in effect here. Now, what we can see from the chart is that we had this subsequent big breakdown through the 66 area, come down all the way down to, we even hit a low of sort of 0.6429, I think it was. So really, we've cracked this downside again, and that still leaves the door open to this push down towards the low, 63s, high 62s. And those lows going back to sort of 2000 and 2008. But what we need to look at now, because the situation has changed, we're not really trading the fundamentals here. The market's expecting the data to be bad. So what the market's looking at is now how much of the kitchen sink, or how big a kitchen sink, central banks are going to throw at it. And we've got the RBA coming up, and that's going to be a big focus too. So on this weekly chart, as I say, from the wider perspective, we're still in this bearish trend, but we need to see how far it's going to go. The support levels is what we need to see defined now. Now, we can look at the closer chart. We can switch to the daily chart. That'll give us a little bit of a better idea what's going on day to day, if you like. Now, we've had one of the break levels at around 65.80. This was a level that I took another short on the break of that level. We've already seen it last week. We've had it confirmed as support around about the 85, 86 mark. So again, that's the break confirmation we've seen there. That's the marker right now for this pair. If we get above that 65, 85 level, then we're going to have a run possibly towards 66, maybe even more. And then the higher resistance areas come back into play. For the downside, I still think it's a little bit complex, because we've got all this virus rise and we're seeing these big swing moves. We've got high volatility. The lows are really going to have to be defined as we go along. Now, we saw, as I said, the spike low last week, maybe some end of month in there as well. So that's pretty much the marker at first. We saw it down to near the 64.20s. Then we saw a subsequent low overnight down towards the 60s, 70s area. So that's where we're going to start drawing our lines for support, and we'll see how we do between there and this 65.80 area. That's going to be the way we define this trade from now on. We'll start to see the support build up. That'll give us our lines there, and we know where the lines above and the resistance. So for trading, we want to go with the breaks of either side of those. In the meantime, we could see some consolidation in between. So moving forward, we're not expecting the situation to change for the better at all in terms of volatility. So we're going to get these jumpy markets. We have got the RBA upcoming, so that's going to be something to focus on. A lot of high expectations for central banks in general. What we're going to be looking for is whether these expectations are far too high than what the actual central banks do. If that is the case, we're going to see a big reaction, and that's going to lead, in this case, to probably some big buying in Aussie dollar and a pop higher. So lots to be going on. Hopefully the volatility stays, but it's not too dangerous, particularly not dangerous last week, because we love volatility. We'll keep an eye on the markets and see how they do this week. And as usual, we wish you all the best.